It's kind of hard to see on the screen, so you may need to get logged in to your nearpod before you can answer.
You're going to want it on your screens, right? A little bit smaller up there.
Yeah, a little bit small. I'm still trying to work with nearpod to figure out how I can get the whole screen kind of covered by the slide, but I have not figured it out yet.
Just a reminder, code's up here, right?
Okay guys, so as you can see, we're starting we're going to look at a new substandard today, so I have a new type of warm-up for you. Okay, we're looking at the word alliances. Okay, we're going to talk about that. That's going to be our theme for the day. Okay, alliances. If you don't know what it means, that's good. Because the first job for you on your warm-up today is to look up the definition, right? So hopefully you'll know what it means going forward today. All right, don't forget to date your warm-ups. It is September 5th. See, I see a lot of people without paper out. I need everyone to get your papers out and start going. All right, get to work.
Just a reminder, it's September 6th, actually.
All right, guys, you got 10 minutes. 10 minutes.
Teachers, at this time, please do a quick sweep of dress code and ID badges in your classroom and send anybody up to the front of the meeting. Thank you.
So you can use those examples and then you can get anything. Yeah, guys, well, number 3, if you're getting there, which, again, hopefully some of you are, even though we've been kind of slacking today. Number 3 is talking about alliances of any kind, right? I'm not talking about U.S. history. That's why I have the images there for you to see. I have various, alliances that I'm a sports and a Marvel nerd, right? So I've got my alliances that I would think of first up there on the board for you. What do you think of for number 3 when you think of alliances? Famous alliances, right? It can be anything. Appropriate.
Yeah, and folks, just a reminder, right? For number 2, right? Why would an alliance or a team, right, teaming up be beneficial for the USA heading into the revolution? Revolution, folks, that's war, right? So if you're heading into, you're going to take on an enemy, you're going to be starting fighting, you're going to start your own revolution, right? Why is it important to team up?
You gotta think Britain is the most powerful empire in the world. The colonies have been around for, about 100 years. So
it's really,
it's pretty, yeah.
David and Goliath.
Yeah, it's a little bit of an uneven battle between the two, and we may have just gave you the answer, but. guys, on number 3, if you're finished, think of more. Okay, and if you run out of ideas, like it says on the slide, Google some ideas of famous alliances, right? Okay, try to make a list here.
Folks, if you need to, right? We don't just put up these pictures for no reason, right? We have a couple of teams up there. If that gets your ideas flowing, right? Use those pictures.
Historical alliances. I see a lot of them. So you want to go ahead and review over with. All right, guys, I see a lot of people pretty much mostly finished. So put your attention on Mr. Wilson. If you don't have something or you have something incorrect, remember this is your opportunity to fix those errors, right?
Yeah, let's go through this as a group. What is the definition of an alliance? Can somebody help me out? Yeah, David.
Joining forces?
Okay. Joining forces. Right. I also said up here, right? It's it's similar to a team, right? Teaming up, working together, right? Yeah. The big thing with alliances, right? You're with a group of people, you work together to try to accomplish something, right? So now the next question: why would an alliance be beneficial? Why would that help? Right? The USA heading into the revolution. Why would they want to team up with others? Somebody other than David. Yeah, Juan.
For more support?
For more support. Yeah. Like we said, the U.S. at this point, right? The colonies, they're small. They don't have an army, right? They don't have a lot of weapons or anything like that. And Britain, I mean, they're largest army in the world, right? A lot of money, a lot of resources. So the odds of them winning on their own, I mean, that's not likely, right? So they're going to want help. They're going to want to team up with some other people. That way they can win, right? So for support, does anyone want to add to this? Power? Yeah, more power, right? Whether it's weapons or resources, right, for war. Yeah, I mean, they're getting ready to take on, the giant. Oops. And then for number 3, what are some famous alliances or teams that you thought of? I want to hear from multiple people. I want to get a couple of them. Miguel.
Injustice?
Injustice?
Yeah.
What's that?
DC. Like DC.
Oh, like the
Justice League?
Justice League.
Injustice, right? So, okay. Perfect. Yeah, superheroes, right? Did anyone else write down some kind of superhero or like the Marvel movies or?
Guardians of the Galaxy.
Who enjoyed it? Did anyone see like Avengers Infinity?
I have.
Well, that's an alliance, right? All these heroes coming together, teaming up, going against Britain. Okay, maybe not Britain, right? Thanos, right?
Yeah, Thanos equals Britain, guys.
Thanos, yeah, exactly.
Let's just put that out with them right now. That's why I cut him off of the picture right there, right? 'Cause we don't want Britain in that image.
Perfect. What else can we think of? Give me 2 more. Yeah. Suicide Squad. Another perfect, right? Bunch of people and they realize, right, if we want to,
Yeah, that's good.
succeed, we got to team up, we got to work together. Give me 1 more. Yeah, Grant?
Put the people of Asgard.
People of Asgard, okay. I'm looking at all these references right now, Marvel and DC. And I'm not even going to try to spell Asgard, so I'm just going to say people of Thor.
That'll work.
I'm gonna save myself the trouble.
The worst people.
And then, folks, even if you like, even if you're not like into superheroes, there's other forms of teams, right? Coach Thompson and myself, we like sports, right? Golden State Warriors, that's an alliance. All these superstars coming together to just dominate, right? So there's teams everywhere, right? Great examples, folks. So make sure if you missed one of these, right, add these down, right, or update these. We want you to have the right information.
Okay, guys, and last thing, make sure, your last reminder that you date your warm-up, right? It's September 6th. Okay, there's also Falcons versus Eagles tonight, right? So make sure you tune in to NBC, please. Pull on the 30. Yeah, we'll go to sleep at halftime. Okay, turn on the Dirty Birds tonight, baby.
He's gonna start in Atlanta and end in Atlanta. Isn't that a song? Dirty Bird?
Okay, so, all right, guys, let me get your attention. Let me get your eyes. Okay, again, I know we come in a little bit rambunctious today. Okay, but we do have some information to get through, right? The reason I wanted you guys to talk about alliances, to understand what that word means, is because that's the wording. Good. That's the wording of the standard. Okay, and today's standard. Cassidy, will you read it for the class, please? Okay, so as you can see on your screen, the substandard for today is we're talking about an alliance. I asked you in question number 2, why would the U.S. why would they want an alliance going against Britain? Okay, it's pretty obvious. We talked about how they're the underdogs, right? They're the underdogs. They're anyone not playing the Warriors, right? They are the underdogs. They need help. Okay, so they're going to turn, as you see, they're going to turn to France. And we know France is the biggest, most hated rival of the British, right? So they're going to be all in to jump in and help the colonists fight against the British. Okay? Because what just happened between the British and the French? Like, yeah, right? French and Indian War, where the British ultimately did what? What did they take? Yeah, they took like all of the French territory from North America. Okay, so that they do not like one another. We're going to talk about their alliance. We're going to talk about Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, how they played a role in making that alliance possible. Okay, so again, guys, if you're not at the front, you need to look on your screen so you can see. And as always, the couple of slides I have are a little bit wordy, so make sure you're summarizing in your own words, right? Okay, so the importance of the French alliance. We've already established that France is now allied, they're now teamed up with the U.S. Okay, and alliances a lot of times it's separate entities, separate things, separate people that have already established themselves that join forces, right? I think David said that was the definition that he found of alliance. They're going to join forces against the British. Okay? The American colonies, we've already talked about them being small in size. They're new to, existence, right? They don't have a whole lot of money, okay? And the money that they did have was primarily coming from the British. All right? If you're going to break away and declare independence, you're not going to be able to rely on them for your money like you once did, right? Okay? So, they have very little money to use, which means they cannot provide weapons, because I told you guys before, war is what? Expensive, right? Thank you. One person remembers. Okay? War is expensive, guys, and I'm going to use that phrase a lot throughout this year. Okay? And if you don't have a lot of money, you're not going to be successful because you have to pay for weapons, right? Pay for the soldiers. Okay? Provide the necessities for those soldiers, like food, water, that kind of thing. Okay? And you can't do that if you have no money. Okay, so they turn to the natural enemy of the British. They turn to the French. They're like, well, we know the French and the British, they hate one another. We just fought a war against them. Maybe they'll help us out. Maybe they'll team up with us, help us defeat the British and gain our independence. Okay? And the French at first are reluctant. Okay, that means they were at first like, I don't think I want to team up with the colonists. Right? They were reluctant to do that. why would the French have been reluctant? Why would they have at first not wanted to team up? Someone take a break from their writing for just a second and answer me. Why would their economy was struggling? Because their economy dependence was so dependent on Britain to begin with. Okay, and if you're going to go against them and break away from them, you can no longer rely on those goods, services, and financial aspects that they provide. Okay, so they need money and they also need troops, because even though the colonies in area were a lot bigger than Britain, Britain had a lot more people. Okay, they were a lot more populated, and their army was, 10 times the size.
And troops is just another word for soldiers, right?
Yes. Yeah, guys. That's just troops is another word for soldiers, right? So they needed more people, more manpower, more soldiers, and more money. That's kind of obvious, but that's what the French are going to provide. Okay? Secondly, Britain not only has to now defend themselves in the colonies, right? They got to send troops over to the colonies to fight the Americans, but they've also got to kind of defend themselves in Europe. Okay, they have other areas and pieces of land that they have in their possession in Europe that France is close enough to attack them in different areas. Okay, so not only are the French helping fight in America, but they're helping fight the British in other places, kind of distracting them, right? Because the British, at first, all of their attention is on defending and fighting for the colonies, and then they realize, hold on, but France is attacking us in all these other different locations as well, and it kind of distracts them from the colonies. That's going to be really crucial at the end when Britain ends up pulling out of the war.
Folks, that's important too, because, right, if Britain is just attacking the colonies, right, they're just in full attack mode, right? They can just focus. It's like someone throwing rocks at your house, right? Well, I got to distract them. I'm going to send someone to throw rocks at their house, right? So that way they got to, right, go check on themselves. So it was a way to distract them, like Coach Thompson was saying.
Yeah, remember guys, they have the largest empire in the world, which means they had a lot more in their possession than just the American colonies. So they had other areas, the Caribbean and other areas in Europe, that the French are just going to bombard with attacks. Okay, and kind of, it shifts their view away from just America. Okay? And then ultimately, not only are they going to have the French alliance, but you're going to see Benjamin Franklin, John Adams, and the fact that the Americans start winning the war play a big role in pulling Spain, who was another enemy of the British, and the Netherlands, which we know is an enemy because remember they took New York from the Netherlands, they took it from the Dutch people, that kind of thing. So we know they have a history. So now you've got 2 extra European countries that are on the side of the Americans. Okay, so not only do you have the French alliance, which is the most important, no doubt, because they're all in. The Spanish and the Netherlands, they end up, after they realize that the Americans have a chance to win this war, they're on the colony side, and they pretty much just send money. But again, war is what? It's expensive, okay, so it's crucial, right? So that money is going to end up being a big factor in winning this war.
Folks, that's why we're pretty much best friends with France today, right? That's why these 2 countries, even today, love each other, because we're so close to each other. We've helped each other out a lot over the past 200 years, right?
Yeah, the American relationship with France is pretty much going to be positive all the way from this point forward until today. And this is the big reason, right? Because without the French, there's no America, right? There's no United States. Okay, so understand the importance of the French alliance, right? And what it means to be an alliance, to team up. Okay, are there any questions about what we looked at today so far? Okay, well, what we're going to do now, I'm in a good mood, and I've put this on the presentation if you guys can handle it, right? I'm going to give you guys a real-life comparison, my own example of an alliance, and we're going to kind of break that down and talk about how an alliance can benefit you in real life, right? Because we think of history, we think that happened too long ago, right? That's not real life, okay? But who knows who LeBron James is? Just raise your hand if you know who LeBron James is. Okay? So most people understand who and know who LeBron James is, right? He's a basketball player, very popular, one of the most popular athletes, Zion, in the world, right? Okay, so what I'm going to do for you guys is I'm going to talk you through how LeBron James used an alliance to turn his career around. All right, so I want you, as we're doing this, keep in mind the French alliance and how important it was to the Americans for them to win. Okay, well, I'm going to talk to you about a different, and I'm a sports guy, right, so it's going to be about sports, but how LeBron James, I got pictured on your screen, how he was not able to win until he joined an alliance. Okay, so I'm going to read you the backstory, follow along on your computer. Okay, I'm going to kind of give you a rundown of LeBron James's life and his career.
Some of us don't have it.
It's not pulling up? Still. Just a couple? Okay. Well, if you don't have it on your screen, just kind of listen. If you do, you can follow along. All right, so LeBron James, right? A real life comparison. He was a prep to pro, meaning he went from straight from high school to the professional basketball to the National Basketball Association, right? He went straight from high school. He played high school basketball for St. Vincent. LeBron being the greatest player, okay, in the world at the time, he couldn't win, right? He couldn't win by himself. They're very similar to America, right? What we talked about. So he decided to join the Miami Heat, a team that already had an established superstar, another great player, and he believed he could win there. Okay, so I'm going to show you guys the clip. If I don't get caught up on this cart here. I'm going to show you a clip of LeBron James making that decision. Okay, it was actually on TV when he decided to go play for a different team. So, put your eyes on the screen for me. All right, this is his decision to join an alliance. All right, good? Zion?
The answer to the question everybody wants to know. LeBron, what's your decision?
In this fall, man, it's very tough. In this fall, I'm going to take my talents to South Beach and join the Miami Heat.
Miami Heat. That was the conclusion you woke up with this morning.
That was the conclusion I woke up with this morning.
Why?
Like I said before, I feel like it's going to give me the best opportunity to win and to win for multiple years. And not only just to win in the regular season or just to win 5 games in a row or 3 games in a row. I want to be able to win championships, and I feel like I can compete down there. I'm looking forward to it. To say it was always in my plans, I can't say it was always in my plans because I never thought it was possible.
Just like we saw with the Americans, with the decision to send Ben Franklin and John Adams to the French, they have totally decided that they need the alliance to win. Okay, LeBron James, the greatest athlete in the world at this time and possibly ever, right? Basketball player. Okay, decides that he can't do it alone. Okay, he can't win. He can't get to the championship, right? And win that championship by himself. So he had to join an alliance.
Right?
Okay, so this is an image of him joining that alliance, right? They look happy, right? They look like they're about to bring home some championships, right? He joined, if you don't know anything about basketball, okay, he joined a guy, Dwayne Wade is in the middle, okay, one of the best players in the league himself, okay? And another guy named Chris Bosh, okay? Both NBA All-Stars, meaning they're very good players. LeBron felt that if he could join them, that he could win, okay? Dwayne Wade had already won an NBA championship. The French had already won plenty of wars, right, in their history. Okay, so he knew that joining them that he could do it. Just like the Americans knew if they could get the French help, they could win. Okay, so let's recap. Let's recap, right? LeBron before joining the alliance. LeBron before joining the Miami Heat, he played with the Cleveland Cavaliers and never even went to the NBA championship. Okay? Never once. Okay, never won an NBA championship, is what I was supposed to say. Now, he never won
Thank you.
an NBA championship, you're right. He got swept by the Spurs.
Yeah, that's what they did.
He was there though. He showed up.
He was there, right? Okay, so that's actually the way I wanted this to go. So he was able to get to the championship, like the Americans would have been able to get and participate in the war, but they could not get over the top, right? And you can see LeBron's not happy here. right? That's not a happy face, is it?
That would have been the colonists, right?
Yeah.
If they went to war alone.
Yeah, that's the colonists if they're fighting the British on their own, right? They're very sad. Very sad, okay? However, LeBron, after joining the alliance, yeah, he looks like a new guy, doesn't he? And he's also got some hardware to prove that, okay? So after joining the Miami Heat, he wins 2 NBA championships, back to back, okay? And he goes to the NBA championship all 4 years that he's there. Okay, so finally, after joining the alliance, after all of his hard work and dedication, he's able to win. Okay, guys? And I know, today was a little bit of a different day, and this stuff doesn't pertain to history, but I want you to keep this in mind. Keep that analogy. Maybe this can help you if on the EOC that you see about the French alliance. You see that word alliance, you're like, hold on. I remember talking about that basketball, even if you don't know who he is, I remember talking about that basketball player, right? And how he joined an alliance to win. Okay, so just kind of maybe help this associate the French alliance and how the United States had to join an alliance to win. Okay? Are there any questions before I give you the last thing for today? No? Everybody good? Okay. So, your final task, you got about 10 minutes left. It's not going to take you 10 minutes. Okay? And I want you to give me a ticket out the door. Okay? Meaning, on a piece of paper, it can be like a half sheet. It doesn't matter. It can be a note card if you have one. I want you to answer this question. Okay? We talked about it, but how was LeBron James's choice to join an alliance similar to the U.S. decision to join in with the French? Compare those two using at least 3 sentences, full sentences, and turn it into your box before you leave. Okay? How was it similar? Compare them, turn it in before you leave. Okay? Are there any questions? Grant, any questions? Okay, so, half sheet of paper, start writing, the red light's still on, okay, so no headphones. I've got some themed alliance music for you. Yep.